Hello everybody, welcome to the latest winning list video. And in this winning list, we're going to be showcasing Scott Morris's sisters, Bringers of Flame detachment.
Yeah, so Scott went 3-0 at our event, 32 players, I think it was, last Sunday. He went undefeated and won that. And he also recently, just yesterday, at the Sheffield Super Major, 200 odd player event, finished 14th, going 4-1. Just losing by a point in the last round, just missing out on that top cut. So really exceptional run. So I'm going to hand you over to Scott for he's going to run you through the list, and then we'll go through each round and his opponent's list and etc. etc. So do you want to run us through your list then, Scott?
Let's do it.
Yeah, pretty much just reel it off. Yeah. So the Canoness for the jump pack with the enhancement Fire and Fury, which is basically the one that gives you an extra shot on the unit's torrent weapons, and then also it gives you sustained hits on the weapons that aren't torrent. She obviously joins the 10 Seraphim, as that's the only squad that she can join, all with hand flamers, just for that nasty combo. Demon Fuse, basically just your lone op scoring unit. She's got a lot of tricks up her sleeve, and she's quite handy. Val, of course, with the 3 Paragon Warsuits. The Triumph is basically an auto include in every sister's list, no matter what detachment nowadays. Even though after the points went up, I didn't think there'd be a world where we'd see her, but I honestly don't think you can not play with her. Just the amount she brings. Just basically 10 Battle Sisters. This is the kind of one unit that I'm playing with and not. I mean, it won me a game, and then it's kind of been, out of about 10 games with the list, I don't know, it's weird. I'd feel like if I didn't have them, I'd miss out, but then I feel like if I was going to change anything, it would be them.
Yeah, that's fair.
3 Immolators, basically just your transports, lets your combat squad up your 10-man sisters units. 2 Castigators, just for a bit of firepower. And obviously in Bringers of Flame, they're unbelievably fast. 2 Dominions. I changed it up for the first event, I believe, because I had 1 squad with Flamers and 1 squad with Melter, just for a bit of variation, because I found that if you're kind of just trying to kill a little thing, the Flamers are unbelievable, whereas the Melters, with it only been 4 shots, you're not even going to kill a scout squad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, the 3 Paragon Warsuits, which I said, obviously with Val, 10 Seraphim with the Canoness, and then 10 Novitiates, just to get you that infiltrating unit, just so you're not basically pushed back in your deployment turn 1.
Yeah, nice varied mix of stuff. You still get a fair bit of stuff, even though the points went up. The Demifuge, then, is that the fights first girl as well?
Yeah, she has fights first, precision, deep strike, anti-chaos, and she can heroic for free. So she's the one that I put when I played into you to try and kill Ragnar, and I absolutely whiffed.
It was a really good move though.
It is a good move. It's just the amount of times she only has 4 attacks, and I always roll 2 1s to hit, and I just can't. Yeah,
he ingressed her in, and obviously she heroic for free, and then she's got precision and fights first. So obviously when I charged, she just goes in and tried to take your character out, which is pretty nice. And then the Canoness for the jump packs, the new unit, right? She's a new character.
Yes, right? I take she has the captain ability, so she can get dev wounds and extra attacks once per game. And then she basically gives you the new user stratagem for 1 less CP, effectively.
So that unit gets what is it? 9d6 plus 9 flamer shots with dev wounds when she's in there, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. You can just do that strat for free every battle round, and then
nice.
Yeah. Do you think they'll cap that a dev wound thing? You can just spike and do 15 dev wounds.
I mean, I've spiked with it sometimes and done 16, and then there's times when I've done about 5. I mean, the only way you can physically, if you had a full rerolls to hit option, then it probably would get capped. I mean, you can get reroll 1s if you're near Catherine to wound. But apart from that, It's very slingy. I mean, they might cap it because they tend to cap most of the mortal wound strats, don't they? Whereas I think if they cap it, you'd probably just take a 5-man.
Yeah, you might as well not run it with a 10-man then. That's right. Yeah.
What's the detachment rule with Bringers of Flame?
Oh, basically your whole army gets assault, and
Nice.
if you're within 12, you get +1 strength.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's nice break points in there.
Basically gives an aura of +2, can give an aura of +2 move, +1 advance, and +1 to charge. So if you're in range of her, you go in an extra 3 inches every time you advance. So it's very quick.
Excellent.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, if you've got nothing else to talk, go through the list, should we move on to the rounds?
Yeah, move on to the first round. First round was against Necrons.
Canoptic Core Detachment. And the missions, it was, janky deployment. What do they call this one now?
This is the first. What deployment is this called?
I can't remember what it's called.
This is the new sweeping engagement, isn't it?
Sweep and engage, yeah.
Yeah, they've just changed it a little bit. This is the first winning list actually on the Pariah Nexus pack that we've done.
Yeah.
You were the first one of the team to win a tournament on the new pack, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So having a look at these new missions. So the Terraform one is where you can do an action on the objectives in the middle. Can you terraform your opponents as well? I don't know. Yeah? I think you probably can.
I honestly don't know. I've never tried.
I mean, it's pretty hard.
You can't do your home. So.
But if you do it, then you get 2 points for the rest of the every round for the rest of the battle for each one you've done. And even if your opponent takes it back, you get the 2 points.
Nice.
Yeah, they can't ever terraform it once you've terraformed it, which is strange. So even if they own it for the rest of the game, you'll still score 2 points for it.
Yeah. And is it different to a normal action, or is it just you just do the action? It completes
it. Action, yeah.
It's still normal action, yeah.
Wow.
The other thing to note is that the swift action, the second part of the mission, it means that your battle line can advance an action on this one, I believe.
Yeah. Back and.
Yeah, so it's quite nice that you've got that unit of battle sisters in there for this, I suppose.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah.
So yeah, the list not kind of too divergent from what we usually see. Really, you've got the single Catan now. You've got a Scorpec Lord, a Technomancer. Usually see 2 of them.
Scorpecs you don't really see.
No, this was quite a. I think he said he usually uses this in a different detachment, but I think he was trying to kind of make a tournament-ready list, and obviously Canoptic Court seems to be the one to go to that everyone uses, either that or Hypercrypt. Yeah. So I think he'd kind of stuck with the list that he had, but there was a few things in there that I was kind of like, you don't usually see, definitely not. Yeah. And there's only 1 6-brick of Wraith, which was nice.
Yeah.
What was the score on this one, Joe?
This was 100 to 28.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a big win.
Yeah. So what do you think contributed most to that, Scott?
I think it was a speed thing as well. He'd not played against new sisters at all, and I tell them not to kind of underestimate the speed, but he'd kind of done that thing where, I mean, he had the infiltrating Canoptic Wraith unit, and he'd pretty much put it in the middle behind where them new ruin pieces are. Obviously, because it could infiltrate, he did infiltrate it, and then his flayed, it was basically there, and his flayed ones were on the other objective because they can infiltrate. But I'd pretty much gone first. I'd gone first, I think, and I had assassinate, and I'd put some girls on the middle objective. Just for primaries, and I thought that he'd then reactive move his wraiths away, but in a way I kind of baited him to reactive moving onto the objective in the middle so that I couldn't score it. But then I had Val pretty much sat behind the new double L bit.
Oh, this one here, yeah.
And she literally just, with the extra move from Catherine, she was moving 10, so she pretty much had to just poke out, stick her head round, and just managed to shoot and then charge and delete the wraiths pretty much turn 1.
Right.
On her own. I didn't even need to put anything else into them. So I think him losing his wraith brick turn 1 before he actually even got to use them.
Yeah, that's huge.
Wasn't probably ideal.
It's not a great start, is it?
No, the Nightbringer started on the table as well, and he'd managed to put him in a place just at the top of his deployment where I could get a line of sight. So I took quite a lot of wounds off him turn 1 as well, because I could only really see the Wraiths and the Nightbringer.
Mm-hmm.
His first turn, he'd moved the Nightbringer down to come and charge Val because she was sat in the middle, and she basically, I overwatched and killed the Nightbringer. So
I remember you saying that. I killed the
pretty
Nightbringer.
much lost the first 2 big units.
Yeah.
At the end of turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd only had to commit Val really to do that. I mean, Val died afterwards, but at that point I wasn't really too bothered. She'd done more than enough work for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a case of a Necron player who usually tanks a lot of other people's damage, underestimating just how much damage the new sisters can do. I mean, it's fair because, like, if you haven't played into the new book, obviously, you probably don't realise that you're just going to lose your Wraiths and your Nightbringer in one turn, do you?
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, the Seraphim didn't actually do a right lot for me. I kind of just left them back as a counterpunch unit just to kind of fly out if they needed to. But once them 2 big units were dead, that was pretty much it. I mean, the Scorefex got tied up on the right-hand side with a couple of my vehicles that I'd sent up there to kill the flayed ones. And the Scorefex kind of just got stuck in there for a couple of turns. And then I think he got a bit unfortunate that he had to do an action. I think it was area denial or something he had to do in the middle. So he put his warrior brick out to try and score that.
Mm-hmm.
But then that basically it just gave me them.
Yeah.
Did you take tactical or fixed?
A tactical. Yeah, I've not done fixed at all.
Okay.
No.
And then on top of that, obviously, I managed to get terraforms off because I pretty much had my infiltrators on the left-hand objective, and they just terraformed straight away. And then obviously with the Wraiths dying, he only had Doomstalkers in that top left. All of his combat units were on the right-hand side of the table, so he couldn't stop me terraforming there. And then eventually, I think I got the middle. I think I ended up terraforming the whole middle board, to be fair, after turn 3. So then the primaries just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How much it stacks up when you get a couple of them terraformed.
What was the scariest thing to go into when you set up on the table? What was the one thing you knew you needed to get rid of first, or at least stay away from?
I mean, probably the Nightbringer. I think if he'd started it off the table, I would have been a bit more worried, because then he would have been able to ingress it, and then it's potentially a threat.
Yeah.
But I think since you started it on the table and it only moves 6 inches, you kind of know where it is all the time, and it's not going to...
Yeah.
You can just measure away from it. I mean, his shooting's pretty nasty, but...
Yeah.
It's fair enough starting it on the table if you're hypercrypt, but to play it Canoptic Court and start it on the table doesn't really make sense, does it?
The thing is, I've played against a lot of Canoptic Court, and I think Wraiths are something that Sisters have never struggled to deal with for me. I've played against the 18 Wraith lists, and if they give you them, they are easy to kill. It's when they hide them behind big buildings that you've got to go around for them. But I've always found with the infiltrating Wraiths, people infiltrate them just because they can, and then with the speed of Sisters now, you can just get them easier.
Yeah, get the angles on them and do the damage. Yeah, that's fair.
That range is insane.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next round if everyone's happy.
Yeah, cool.
Let's do it. So round 2 is AdMech, Data Sam, Conclave. Been a while since we've seen some AdMech, actually, out on the board.
Yeah, it is.
Last time I saw them was a bit of a meme list back in when we did the GT in Hull.
Yeah, it has been a while. I got smashed at Manchester GT by that guy who made the top cut, but he was playing with like 200 models or something.
Oh, really?
I didn't even look at that AdMech list.
Yeah, he came like 4th, I think. I can't remember his name.
An AdMech list made the top cut this weekend as well.
They did, yeah. They've had the rules rewrite now, haven't they? And apparently they've got a bit of play. But this actually was against Dave, another member of Team Carnage.
Yeah, Dave Walker. Yeah,
who loves his AdMech. So he's happy that they've had a rules rewrite. So
this was the janky corners, search and destroy it. Deployed.
Yeah, janky corners. Yeah.
Take and hold in supplies. So this was classic, kind of a classic pre-Nexus mission. This, wasn't it?
Yeah, not much change on this one, to be honest with you. Apart from the fact that I don't know if Take and Hold had an extra objective hidden supplies. Did it? Can't remember. Don't think it did it?
It didn't. No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Yeah, so that's the change on it, that there's an extra objective, which I think is probably better.
You score quite a lot of primer on this one, I think. Especially with them little terrain pieces in the middle now. You can pretty much be in terrain and hold any objective on the board. You're not going to get shot out in the open like you are on the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the score, Joe?
This was 90 to 58.
Okay.
Dave did a little bit better than the Necron lad, but still a nice big win for Scott. I would run you through the AdMech stuff, but I'll be 100% honest, I don't know what a lot of it does.
Yeah, same.
I probably have.
Is that what you thought when you saw it on the table? Because obviously not seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played against AdMech kind of competitively at a tournament apart from this. Like I had a mate that used to play AdMech, but he kind of just played the stuff that he liked. And with them being, I mean, every time I played AdMech, they've probably changed massively in between because it's been like a 6-7 month period. But they were actually, the stuff that he was telling me and the things that they could do is actually quite scary now. They seem decent. I don't think they're a pick up and play army like some, but I think in the right hands like Dave, I think he could have had this game. I think there was literally a couple of mistakes here and there that he knows that he did that either cost it being a lot closer or potentially me losing, if I'm honest, because it does put out some firepower, this list.
Does it, yeah? That's interesting. Well, I mean, I'm glad because it's not nice when some of the armies are like unusable.
So the Skitarii Rangers, they're basically the troops that can scout move. I don't know what they actually did. I think they spent most of the time on its home objective. Vanguard Skitarii, the ones that if they get in range of you, they basically minus your OC, and then they're OC2 themselves, so they're absolutely a pain in the ass. If they get too close to you, they'll just take any objective off you. The Doom Riders, they're the transports. They put out a lot of shots as well. They're quite scary. Electro Priests, basically the monks with the tasers, aren't they? So they do dev wounds.
Monks with tasers.
It basically, I think it was what characters is it? Maybe it's them techno-archaeologists, but basically they can get characters in them that can give them, I think 4-up feel no pain.
Right.
Or a 4-up invuln, and there's something that makes them rock hard to kill. I mean, they're still only 1 wounds. They're not as bad as Arcos, but on the charge, they will kill most things, definitely. Okay. The Breachers, that was the robot brick.
They're the ones that are on the tracks.
Yes, that was the scariest unit I've probably ever seen in a while. But it was like a 400-point unit, and that had it was either I think it was the Tech Priest Manipulus in there, and he basically gives them fight firsts and lethal hits, I believe.
Eesh. Okay.
So
are they pretty tough as well? Are they like sort of 4 or 5 wounds each, or?
I think they're 4 wounds each. But then there's a strat in the certain detachment he was using that can give like a unit of 4-up invuln or something. So they were not the easiest to kill.
Yeah.
It was more the shooting. I think they do about 4 shots each if they're in rapid fire range, and they're like AP 3 or something. But then their combat profile's pretty much exactly the same.
Right.
Is it? They actually do slap in combat a little bit?
They absolutely slap. And then in his detachment, I think everything gets an extra attack in combat. Not when charge, just permanently. So if you try and charge them, and they fight first, and then I think there's a new rule now: if they're in range of a troops unit, they get full rerolls to hit. So even the Overwatch threat from them was horrendous because of the lethal hits and full rerolls to hit. So it was pretty much just a giant brick of 3 damage, high AP guns, and then combat the same.
So what you said that there was a few mistakes that he made didn't make it as close. So what do you think made you drop that 10 points then off the 100?
I can't remember. I've got it up here. I'm trying to remember what I dropped it on. It was primary, I think, because since he had so many units.
Yeah.
I only scored 5 points on primary for the first 2 turns. For turn 2 and 3, and then I got 15 on the last 2. So I think it was a very cagey start because I didn't want to put anything out in the open because that brick would just come out and destroy it. And I literally had to keep Val. When I eventually did kill that brick and shoot them, I lined it up for probably about 5 minutes so that Val could see just one model and everything was an 18. So if you wanted to Overwatch, it was only going to be with 1 or 2 models. I think it worked out as. So that was pretty much the way I managed to kill them in the end. But I didn't dare charge them. I couldn't go anywhere near them.
Yeah, no.
I had to put Val very far back on my board so that she could get shots on them because they
seemed pretty spicy. So it was probably the primary denial then that just dropped you them points really from the Vanguard guys, is it, that reduced your?
Yeah, he had a lot of troops. Obviously he's got 40 Scutari just in troops there, and then I did have my infiltrators out, but he managed to get them pretty early. Because I think it was them infiltrators that move very fast, them Sicarian infiltrators, and they're still quite punchy. So they managed to get my novitiates pretty much turn 1. So that obviously lost me some primary, and then it was just like I said, anything I put out in the open, he'd either just take it off me or kill what was on there. So I lost all my scoring units pretty early on, but then it meant that I didn't lose any of my big damage units. So everything he did put out, I ended up killing, and it was just a trading game, I guess, again. So
yeah,
I was giving him my rubbish units, and he was having to trade his better units in.
Yeah,
better units life for them, really.
Right.
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, I think the mistake that cost him, he'd even said, obviously, I brought Val down pretty much. That L at the top of my deployment is literally where she came down, and she had to thread a needle into the middle of the board to shoot the destroyers.
Right.
And the breaches. It ingressed his dragoons just above that L on the top, so that next turn he could come and charge Val.
Right.
And this is a unit that he was saying moves 10 inches and can advance and charge, but he ingressed them literally just 9 inches away. So once Val had finished shooting them breaches, I then charged 9 inches.
Them. Okay. That's a big mistake.
All of them as well, and he was like, I don't know why I did that, because he could have just put them right at the top left.
Yeah.
Moved down and charged me the turn after.
13 inches away or whatever.
He just ingressed 9 inches away, and I was just like, well, I'll just put a 6 miracle in, and I rolled another 6, and I just went 12 inches straight into them and killed them.
How the unit killed the breaches and the dragoons that turn.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I think that was his comeback, really. I mean, they probably wouldn't have killed Val, but they might have definitely kept it busy or taken out enough of them, because they're quite punchy in that detachment, them dragoons.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
All right, let's crack on and go to the final round then. So final round, you had Drukhari, Sky Splinter Assault. To be honest, I was very impressed that a Drukhari list has again got through to round 3. We've had this twice in recent
they're doing
events.
pretty well.
Yeah, especially Sky Splinter Assault, and you know it's one of them armies that is quite difficult to play. Like Sisters and like Tau, they're not, like you say, Scott, they're not pick up and play. So very impressed with this. But what was the score on this one?
This was 90-50. No, so again, another decent win.
So we had the same deployment as round 1. Primary was supply drop. Mission 1 was rapid escalation. Just remind us what rapid escalation is.
I think that's the one where you can bring a battle line unit in from strategic reserve turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's very unsure on whether you can do it in transports or not. And obviously both our battle line units start the game in transport, so we kind of just said we're not sure, so we're just going to ignore it.
Right.
I don't think you can. I think it just has to be a battle line unit. I mean, if you had Chaos Knights, this would be an absolute laugh. But I mean, what am I going to do with some Battle Sisters? Just strategic turn 1.
It's irrelevant for a lot of armies, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of might as well be Chilling Reign, really, to most people, I think.
Yeah.
And supply drop is the mission that everybody hates, and nobody understands why it's been put back in the pack. And literally every single person at Sheffield Super Major were moaning about it this weekend. So,
they'll probably take it out when it comes out of beta. They'll probably.
I really hope so, mate. I think everyone despises it. It's the one where the objectives disappear. So if you go second, it's just a massive advantage, basically.
Yeah, I think the primary game's quite hard at the minute anyway, especially if you do go first. And then with your objectives disappearing, that just makes it even worse. Because you pretty much just want to go for that 15 point at the end. And that's it. And then you don't score any points for holding your own either on this one, which is just a random occurrence.
Yeah, you get some really low scores on this mission, so fair play to you for scoring 90, to be fair.
Yeah.
I secret missioned him.
Oh,
yeah,
did you?
Did you secret mission?
Secret missioned him. It was my first secret mission, and it was literally because he kept me off the primary so well that I think, God, I've got it up here. Let me get it up quickly.
Yeah, nice.
Where is it? I'd scored no primary turn 1 or turn 2. I scored 5, 8, and then my 20 at the end of the game, and that was it.
Right.
Okay.
8, 20. No, 15 as well. Yeah, but I didn't score
any. You got the 15 in the secret mission, but you'd maxed it, so you got 40 primary in the end.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
What was the secret mission?
It was basically just to get Val on his objective.
Right.
And Val had managed to kind of keep her head out of trouble for a bit. So I was just like, the thing is, when they move 17 inches at full tilt if you want them to, Val's unit. So it's just,
yeah,
he's there. And I mean, it was a really close game. I can kind of go through a bit more, but come turn 4, there wasn't anything left on the board that could stop Val. So it was just, yeah. But pretty much, yeah, obviously, his 2 Archons go with the 2 10-man Incubis, and basically gives them reroll wounds in combat. And then, obviously, if you use pain tokens, they get reroll hits. I played against a Drukhari list quite similar to this not long before, and they are actually very scary right now, Drukhari. I think very scary.
They're doing pretty well, aren't they?
I was quite surprised they didn't have any witches, because I think witches and Lilith is definitely another brick that you don't want to go anywhere near. But yeah, the Incubi is horrendous, and I think it was he had one raider with 10 Incubi in the middle, and then he had 1 with 10 on the left, and he'd pretty much committed that raider and Incubi to that left-hand objective to try to kill my novitiates again. My novitiates just die turn 1 every time. They just, I swear, I think it's just a bait unit, but it always tends to bring out something tasty to kill. So he pretty much got his raider onto there and then disembarked. His Incubi obviously absolutely pieced them up. And then you can use a strat in Drukhari to then just jump straight back into a transport once you've finished it. But with the speed that I had, I pretty much managed to then fly 2 or 3 of my tanks up to destroy the raider, and then lined up my Seraphim so that as soon as the Incubi came out, I just flamed and dev wounded them and then jumped back behind the wall afterwards, because they shoot and move, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think once one of them was out of the way, I was kind of like, right, there's only 1 more now. And it was quite a pain in the ass, that was one, because of where he put the raider behind that L, just above the middle objective. It's pretty much, it's very hard to get in touch, so they just got to keep popping out and hitting something, then jumping back in, and then vice versa.
Yeah, it's so good that they can do that. Just come out, hit you, and jump back in the transport. That's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, the Demon Fuge got me a big play, kind of like the same as I tried against you, but it was only into 5 mandrakes this time, so thankfully she actually heroic she invested in heroic for free and then actually killed the mandrakes before I lost one of my scoring units, which was quite decent.
Yeah, nice. She's a nice little saviour, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. The Scourges, I can't stand Scourges. I think they're horrendous. They're kind of they're like what my Seraphim are. They just jump out, blow something up, and then just jump away again, and it's a nightmare to catch them. But then I think it was another one where he underestimated my speed, because he had, I think, 2 of his Scourge units above that L on the top left. And I literally just turn 1, scouted a transport from my deployment and went straight up the left-hand side and managed to kill at least 1 unit, and then the other one not long after. It was the Venoms that gave me trouble, if I'm honest. Them having 6 Venoms, obviously in combat squad, you Cabalites into them and then use your firing deck. They put out some absolute shooting. It's insane. Yeah. I couldn't believe it, the amount of shooting that they put out. It's good that I've got to see his list again, because he's got 2 units of Reavers in this list that I don't think he actually used, come to think of it. So I don't know if he left them in strat reserve or just didn't use them at all, because I remember seeing him playing with them when I turned up at the table, and I was like, oh, what are they? I've never seen them. He was telling me what they did, and I was like, well, they're quite scary. And I don't remember him ever using them.
Right. Maybe he just did leave them in strat reserve.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Well, the Reaver jetbikes, so they go into, they usually deep strike them, don't you? And they move like something daft, like 28 inches, and they just they're just unbelievable. Well, at least they did when I played them, but that was like back in 9th. But I don't know whether they're still as quick as they are. But if they're as quick as they were then, they're incredibly good kind of scoring unit. So yeah, it's a shame they didn't use them.
Yeah, I mean, Drukhari, they definitely are scary, Drukhari. I think just the play that they've got in them with the transports and anything that can jump out of a transport. And the thing is, it doesn't even have to kill the unit. It can still jump back in. It just has to. It doesn't. There's no like, if it's not within engagement range, it can just jump back in. And it makes a normal move as well. And obviously, Incubi move 7, so you've got to finish.
Right, so it doesn't have to kill the unit.
You just jump out, hit something, and jump back in.
Yeah. And basically, you just make a normal move. So obviously, as long as you finish within 10, your Incubi can go back in. And I'm pretty sure Witches move like 8 or something. So they're even further.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Like I say, at the end of the fight phase, though, do you get to hit them back?
Yeah, it's at the end of the fight phase. It's not after they activate. It's just, it doesn't.
Still strong, though.
Very good. It's very good. I think Incubi are insane. I mean, having 2 10 bricks, I'm not totally sure about. I mean, 1 10 brick is definitely. I think 5 Incubi kill a lot of things in the game.
Yeah, it's the rerolls, isn't it? Reroll hits and reroll wounds. It's just so efficient.
Yeah, and I think they're like AP 2 damage. So they're definitely they're infantry killers massively. I mean, the 10 bricks will kill tanks, whereas the 5 bricks might not. But when you've got scourges and all the shooting that comes out of your venoms,
yeah,
don't think. Yeah, it's a hard one.
Right. Yeah. So before we wrap up, can you just for about a minute or so just speak to the new terrain layouts and what do you think to the extra little bit of obscuring in the middle and the new kind of deployments? What are your thoughts so far?
Deployment wise, I think this is the only new one they're actually using, isn't it? All the other ones are still the old ones. I don't mind this one. I quite like it. I mean, against combat armies, it's definitely a different story, but you can always measure your opponent. Do you know what I mean? That's all you've got to do, I guess. At the same time, it works for you. People aren't. There is obviously certain people that are deploying right on the line. I've not actually played against a full combat army on this one, so maybe I'll hate it later on. I don't know, but I quite like this new one. The deployment, anyway, definitely. I mean, not having your home objective fully within that big L's a bit harder because you can only hold it with probably like 3 models from actual cover now. I've found that a lot of the objectives you can't. They're a lot more giving to your opponent. Like, say, the one on the left-hand side here, that used to be completely all the way over so that you only had an inch lip on the other side of it, so your opponent couldn't just come and easily take it off you, whereas now you're not holding objectives from as much cover as you used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good because people would just sit. You'd be able to sit a full Wraith brick behind that and have them all on the objective, and you'd have to go around to dig them out. Whereas on this side, you can only probably get 3 Wraiths on that.
Yeah, and then the one on the right, it's a bit more open, isn't it? So I like it as well. I like the new terrain pack. I like the new ruins as well in the middle. I think they were lacking terrain on the last packs of the UKTC packs, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, some missions maybe could just do with one of them in the middle. I mean, maybe just put one of them line of sight blockings right on the middle of the objective. I don't know, but obviously I play a shooting army, but my shooting army also moves very fast now, so it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, if I was to pull my vote and back out, I probably would hate the new terrain because
you're going to struggle.
Firing lines are very hard, and staging points for melee armies is very good on this terrain right now. Whereas if you've got a fast army like Tau, you can punish the staging combat armies, but
if you're not playing melee, you need a fast shooting army, don't you? Now an aggressive fast shooting army.
Yeah, 100%, because the staging points for combat armies is way better than it ever has been.
Yeah. Okay, well, brilliant. Thanks so much for that, Scott. Really appreciate it, and massive congratulations for winning it last week and coming so high as you did in the GT this weekend. So just a bit of plug-in to finish the video as usual. So yeah, we've got, don't forget to go to the website. Link is in the description to check out the t-shirts. They're by tattoo artists from up and down the country that we've partnered with, and everyone you buy, they get paid for. So go ahead and buy one. They're really cool, really comfy and ethically sourced. So go and get one. And then we've got our up-and-coming events. Our next 2 are the Sheffield RTT. That's at the Outpost in August on the 11th. Should be a good one. It's where we host our Wednesday Warfare, so you can come down to that. It's 32 players. Again, link in the description to get your tickets for that. And then after that, we've got a RTT in Leeds at Leodis Games on the 15th of September. So if you fancy come to that, come down to that as well. You can get the tickets in the link below. And if you haven't already, if you could drop us a subscribe and drop this video a like if you enjoyed it. Really helps out the channel. I know it's a cliche, but it genuinely works and helps support us and makes these videos just get better and better. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.